part of the larger story that is the whole of the celebration of Christmas. So as I'm studying a story like this and preparing for a sermon, one of the things that I like to do is look at it very carefully and see if there's something that surprises me, or perhaps a kind of a question that pops up in my mind that I can pursue with my meditation, prayer, and study. And as I was reading it this year, what hit me was the expression that Mary traveled in a hurry. She made haste, it says, to visit Elizabeth. And so I was asking, well, first of all, why? But also, how? This is a young girl, right? 14. How did she convince Zechariah Anna and Joachim that they should let her go to visit? Now, probably Mary was already planning to go and visit. Probably she was going to go there. We're told this is the 6th month for Elizabeth. And so probably Mary was planning to go up, stay with her, and help to deliver John. But now she is hurrying. And the question is, why? And also how? I think the how tells us a lot about Mary. She got her way. I mean, we oftentimes think of her perhaps as kind of passive. And that is, she was always a saint. She never sinned. When the angel appeared to her, she says, "Let it be done to me." Kind of passive. But that's not Mary. And we'll see this later on as well, where she's a take control kind of person. Let's look at the why. The angel had just appeared to her, right? The story before this. Now, Mary was a person of faith, and she knew the situation. She was a woman, she's not married, going to have a son. What was going to happen? How would people respond? She knew very well that her beloved, Joseph, would likely abandon her, which the story tells us was his plan before God intervened. She didn't know her parents might also kick her out, where she would have to raise this boy as a single mom with no support at all. And in fact, she also knew that the law would allow the people to take her out in the street and stone her to death. All of this happening, and what does she say? "Let it be done to me, according to your word." Anyway, I will do it. But in her wisdom, Mary knew that she needed help. Something that we oftentimes forget. She knew she needed some support and help. And so she looked around, I guess, in her life. It was Elizabeth that she needed to visit. She hurried to Elizabeth. Why? Well, we could guess. These two women, both pregnant, in fact, both with a miraculous pregnancy. Perhaps she would know that these two boys would not be their moms, that they belonged to the world, that they were being sent in mission. Perhaps even, maybe later, came to understand that both of these boys would give their life in service to God. And both moms would become someone who saw their son die. So Mary and Elizabeth had a lot in common. Perhaps that's the reason. But I think the story also gives us more evidence of why. As Mary enters into Elizabeth's home, what is the response of Elizabeth? She's the elder, and Mary coming to help her. And yet Elizabeth says, "Who am I that you should come and visit with me?" Think of the humility in that. No judgment. Acceptance. support. That's, I believe, why Mary chose Elizabeth to be the person that she would talk with about this amazing new situation in both of their lives. One of the things that's missing in this story is anyone thinking it's all about me. It's not there. Well, except for, I guess, King Herod, right? But he's another story. But the rest of the people in the book, there is this openness and acceptance of God's will be done in me. And so both of these women serve as a model for us of how to support one another and how to be open to the will of God. It seems to me that we all need someone like Elizabeth in our lives. Someone that we can go to, especially in times when life is tough. Someone who will accept us and will see the God life within us. We see, because of Elizabeth's quickness to understand the situation, she must have had a direct line to God. This was a holy woman. One of the things that I think we see in this story is the beginning, the first scene, if you will, of the church. Two people meeting with Christ in the center. There's the church. Isn't that why we have come here today? To be with one another? I mean, if Mary was looking for someone who would understand, maybe we also need to look for someone who will understand us. In that world out there, they don't understand. They do not share that most important thing in our lives that you and I would agree to. But we understand. And we are there for each other. Each of us called to become ourselves in Elizabeth. But also each of us called to come with haste to greet Elizabeth and to be accepted and loved and help one another in this journey of life. That's the church. It's why we have come, to people to meet with Christ in the center. Christ indeed is coming, is very near, and will be the center of our relationship as His church. So as we prepare now and come very near to the celebration of Christmas, we celebrate Emmanuel, God who is with us, the God who is with us to make a difference in how we relate to one another, acknowledging, as Elizabeth, the God who is within.